A boundary is a way that you allow someone to act in your presence. This video is about setting boundaries, why we need them, and how to implement them. Boundaries are critical in self-defense. We can't go around living in the orange thinking everyone is a threat all the time. We learned through the awareness video. If you haven't watched that, you can go back and review the colors of awareness and conditions of awareness. But orange and red are very mentally taxing and physically taxing to our bodies if we always are under stress thinking that everyone is out to get us. So in order to go back into the yellow, to have a relaxed awareness, still have our eyes and our ears open, we can use boundary setting as a guide to know what people's intentions really are. If we want to know what someone's intentions are, we need to set boundaries so that we can see how they act when we put our boundaries out in space. It's up to us to communicate boundaries and to make sure that the people around us know that we mean business. It's very important that we don't move our boundaries. So once you set them out in space, you verbalize them, you communicate them, we need to keep those boundaries out there and leave them there. When people cross them, we do need to act upon it. I like to think of boundary setting as the walls to a beautiful castle. There's walls all around the castle, there's a moat, there's defenses all around, and there's one pathway into the entrance of the castle. It's expected that anyone who wants to respectfully enter into this castle will use the path that's provided. And if someone is scaling the wall, swimming the moat, going in a weird, shady, non-encouraged or expected way, then we know this person has ulterior motives. They're not using the pathway that we provided. They're going every which way around into our life, and that is not welcome. So think of your life and your heart and your mind as a castle, and you're giving people a way into your life. And if they want to overstep and be shady and sneaky and come in all these other ways that you have not provided and have not encouraged, then you know that they are not respectfully entering this castle, and they are not allowed in this castle, and they're not welcome in this castle. Just like if you have a house, you have a door, you see someone crawling in the window and you're like, dude, there's a door. Why aren't you using it? They're coming in a sneaky way. They're going in a way that's not encouraged or provided, and they're not listening to the common courtesy and the common rules of entering a house. If you're going through a window, you're breaking in when there's a door that's there for you to use. So we need to think of ourselves like that, our personal space like that we're providing a way that is the respectful, safe way to enter. And if you want to go on the outsides and scale the wall and test my wall, then there's going to be consequences. And if that's relationally, that means you clip a person. If that's having to do with your job and your profession, you ask to be removed, you go and get another job, you do those crazy things that it takes to reinforce your decision of the boundaries you set. You have to be willing to act upon those that cross a boundary that just totally disrespects you and your space and your safety. We have to be willing to go there and to make those hard choices. When we're setting boundaries, we need to think about what is in our best interests. What values my safety? Is this in favor of me? And what is it that I'm willing to accept? We need to set boundaries in all areas of life. And when we're talking about self-defense, we really need to stop and consider what it is that makes me feel most safe. You really need to be selfish about it. You need to think about what makes me feel safe. What am I willing to deal with? What is in my favor here? Don't feel selfish setting boundaries. Set them because you're worth it. So there's 3 types of boundaries that we can communicate into space and communicate to others. There's a body language we can use. We can use our hands. We can use our voice. We can use our posture. We can just walk through a shady part of town with our shoulders rolled back and our eyes up and confidently walk through this place. Even if we're scared inside, we can fake it till we make it through. We can look at a person to acknowledge that we see them, we're onto them, that our radar is on them, and they dare not make another move. Body language can communicate a lot, and we know this. We know this in business, we know this in just general society. We can look around and we can make our own judgments. That's the kind of thing that perpetrators are looking at when they're scoping a crowd. So our body language can communicate a lot about our boundaries. It can show that I'm gonna be a problem if you mess with me. I'm not easy work. I'm not gonna be an easy prey. I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna make a scene. I'm going to bring drama into your life because you are not getting what you want today because I am a problem. That's what our body language wants to communicate. You need to put that vibe out there and trust that that vibe alone will communicate to others that you're not an easy target. Even though our body language and our mind are communicating, we're aware and we have body language boundaries going out there. We need to understand that as soon as we give in to eyes in the phone, music in the ears, we're kind of giving up a part of our body language that communicates I'm a problem. We're kind of proving that I could be surprised and caught off guard because I'm not listening and I'm not looking right now. So just be aware of that. The next boundary that we could set are verbal boundaries. These are the ways that you communicate to people what it is you're willing to deal with. We need to have verbal boundaries as far as commands, telling people stop, don't go any further, get back, beat it, whatever it is in your way to communicate. You don't want this person coming any closer to you. You use your voice, you speak it out, and you expect them to listen. And if they don't listen, you progress in your mind and your preparation to what's next. If they're not listening to a verbal boundary, it could be as simple as boom, turning and taking off. I'm not even in deal with that. You're not getting more than 2 arms length close to me. I told you to stop. You're not stopping. I'm out of here. With verbal boundaries, it's really easy for us as women to get caught feeling like we're being rude, that we have a chip on our shoulder. We can easily be labeled the B word. We could feel that we're being disrespectful. But the reality is, when it comes to self-defense, we are not sorry. And if we were wrong, we can apologize later. We can't allow our worry of what others think of us compromise what makes us feel safe. So when we're using verbal boundaries, think of not making suggestions, not apologizing, but commanding. Almost as if you're talking to a child. Get out of the road because you mean it. There's a bus coming. You need to get out of the road. I don't have time to explain. Get out of the road. That's how we need to communicate our boundaries with people we think might be a threat to us. Command them to stop, go away. Very clear, very simple. And if you're not getting it, you're an idiot who's crossing my boundaries and I'm going to have to do something about it. When it comes to physical boundaries, the first physical boundary we can set is distance. So we can keep and maintain a safe distance, okay? So that's something that we need to consider as a physical boundary. It's not just fighting. It is me staying away from you. So I'm physically keeping a safe distance away from what could be a threat to me. That is first, keeping distance. Second, we can also include distraction or interception between us. We can maintain distance and then put something between us. My physical boundary could be the table between me and another person. I get behind that table, I shove a chair. If they grab that chair and move it out and keep coming forward, you know something's up. If they're throwing things that we're putting in the way of their path out of the way, they are coming and they don't have good intentions. They're not coming up to just tell us what's on sale at the grocery store. So we have physical boundaries, keeping the distance, putting things in the way. If they're moving it and they keep advancing, this is where we could have a physical boundary in striking someone else, elbowing them, kneeing them, punching them in the face, grabbing their neck, choking them out, doing whatever we know at this point to physically defend ourselves. If we get to the point where we need to physically defend ourselves, we need to go in 100%. This is when we're in the red. If we go back to the color code, this is the red zone. This is where you are exerting all your energy, causing a scene, going bananas in the middle of the store, in the middle of the street, calling for help, getting people involved, not being alone in this situation, and not going anywhere if they're trying to remove you. It could be where you just straight hammer fist them to the side of the face and get out of there. You do a strike, like a stun and run, they call it. You stomp on their foot and you bolt. You are fighting like your life depends on it. So when we finally get to the point where we have physical contact, there is no slow start. We go all gas, no brakes. As you grow in your self-defense, you might be surprised that your boundaries get looser and looser. Because I'm comfortable, like I'm okay. I feel like if someone was really to step into my space, I could handle it. So people are different. Some people are physically stronger than others, older, younger, whatever it is. So I would start with tight boundaries that make you feel safe, that are in your favor, that value your safety. And as you grow in your self-defense journey, as you grow as a person, when you learn more about other people's behaviors, we might relax our boundaries. And everyone's different. So we can't look at someone else's boundary and think that should be our boundary. It's a total personal decision, and you need to just sit and take time to think about what makes me feel safe. And lastly, especially with family members, especially with coworkers, we can't think that it's ever too late to set a boundary. Sometimes we have very bad repertoire with other people that we've allowed to do things to get away with that, you know what, I never liked it when you did and I never said anything. And you can easily communicate that. Like, I never liked when you did this, and I don't know why I let you go on so long thinking it was okay, but can you please stop? And then from there, you kind of see, is this person respectful? Is he going to honor what I just said or not? And that's when things have to, things have to progress, and we have to stand behind our boundaries. And if it's a new boundary for you today, you set it, believe in it, and if they don't respect it, then that's another red flag. So if you found this helpful, please share it with your friends, family. You can like and subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Thank you for your time.